It's fine.
Are we ready? Not yet.
1 second. And is the other recorder on too? No, the one on the Zoom.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, we're ready.
Okay. Like to call to order the meeting of the Township of Newtown Township Board of Supervisors meeting for April 10, 2023. We had executive session at 6 o'clock to discuss a settlement of a litigation matter. And we also discussed an employee disability issue. Mr. Neese, can you please call to order? Roll call, please.
Yeah, Mr. Altieri is unable to be here. He's absent. Ms. Roberts Lightcap,
Here.
Mr. Partridge,
Here.
Mr. Russo,
Here.
and Ms. Chandlis.
Here.
I would make note for the record that both Mr. Russo and Ms. Chandlis are virtual, and we can hear them, and both of them can hear us.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda for this evening's meeting?
So moved.
Allegiance, we forgot the pledge of, oh, sorry. Wait, I'm jumping ahead. I'm still new to this, sorry. Can we please have a moment of silence? And please keep in your thoughts and prayers the victims of yet another shooting today in Louisville, Kentucky. And pledge of allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the
flag, United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands.
which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right, now we'll slow it down a little bit. Can I get a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved. So, second.
That was clear. And public comment for agenda items only.
I'm going to back you up.
Here we
You
go
need to take
again.
the vote.
I need a spread, I need a little cheat sheet. A motion was made by Supervisor Partridge, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Can I please, are there any questions?
Nope.
Any comments?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Was it a unanimous?
unanimous, 4-0.
4-0. Thank you. Now, public comment for agenda items only, seeing that there is no one present except for one person in the audience. And there were no public comments online or in our comment box. So we'll move on. Okay. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the March 27th Board of Supervisors meeting?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Any board comment?
Nope.
Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion was made by Supervisor Partridge and approved by, or second by Supervisor Russo. We'll get this right. Item number 8, consider approving resolution 23-8, the National Library Week. Supervisor
Yep,
Partridge.
Yep, okay. Resolution number 2023-08. There's more to the story. National Library Week, April 23rd to the 29th, 2023. Whereas libraries provide the opportunity for everyone to pursue their passions and engage in lifelong learning, allowing them to live their best life. Whereas libraries have long served as trusted institutions for all members of the community, regardless of race, ethnicity, creed, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, or socioeconomic status. Whereas libraries strive to develop and maintain programs and collections that are as diverse as the populations they serve and ensure equity of access for all. Whereas libraries adapt to the ever-changing needs of their communities, continually expanding their collections, services, and partnerships. Whereas libraries play a critical role in the economic vitality of communities by providing internet and technology access, literacy skills, and support for job seekers, small businesses, and entrepreneurs. Whereas libraries are accessible and inclusive places that promote a sense of local connection, advancing understanding, civic engagement, and shared community goals. Whereas libraries are cornerstones of democracy, promoting the free exchange of information and ideas for all. Whereas libraries, librarians, and library workers are joining library supporters and advocates across the nation to celebrate National Library Week. Resolved, designate this week of April 23rd to 29th, 2023 as National Library Week. During this week, I encourage all residents to visit the Newtown Public Library to explore the wealth of resources available. And that is my motion.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Partridge, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any comments or questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous, 4-0. Thank you. And our library, under our library director, does terrific work, and I know it's very popular. So thank you all. And can
I just
Sorry.
know she'll be here at the next meeting. She was unable to be here this meeting, and
Okay.
so we'll present the resolution at the next meeting and get a photo at that time.
Oh, great, thank you. Item number 9, 9.1, consider accepting the resignation of Melissa Cunniffe from the Historic Commission.
So move for approval.
Can I get a second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Supervisor Partridge, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Does anybody have any comment? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 It's unanimous, 4-0. Thank you. Report, a report from the Township Manager, Mr. Neese. I won't read. You'll-
Yeah, I'm going to quickly go through these just
Okay.
to make sure everybody understands where we are and what's going on. So the engineer's been working on a preliminary kind of design for the parking over at the Meadow Preserve and access at the Meadow Preserve. That got finished up late last week. So we're going to be scheduling meetings with the residents that are near there, as well as Episcopal Academy. And then we'll also be doing a full public meeting coming up once we get some feedback from those who are going to be directly impacted, so we understand, that what we've done to make sure it makes sense. And so we're going to be doing that over the next couple of weeks, getting that done. So hopefully by beginning of April, beginning of May, we'll have a pretty good understanding, and then we'll start going into more detail and getting everything set for how we'll go forward.
Mr. Neese, I just have a question about that. So you'll meet with the neighbors that you met with previously from Lister,
yes.
the homeowners
Yes, they had
association?
asked, they've wanted to weigh in just to make sure, which, because it directly impacts them. So we're going to do that. We're going to meet with Episcopal Academy because it's impact there.
Mhm.
And then we're also going to meet with the public and get them to weigh in as a whole. So we may do them in more combined meetings,
Right,
but I want to make sure that we at least get the meeting with the residents that are being impacted early on. And then we'll have an open process
Great.
for the whole process.
Makes
But
sense.
we're going through that.
Okay.
We're going to move forward with advertising replacement for the position for the Historic Commission. If it's, as long as it's okay with the board, we'll be doing it on social media and our website. I don't intend to put it in the paper at this time. I don't think we have to, but if we don't get anybody, we'll go back and come back to you if we need to do that. Just so you know, EAC applied for a mini grant from DCCD. I believe it's actually DCED, but DCED related to the rain garden out here. We found out actually they applied end of the week, about a week and a half ago. We found out last week that they got the grant. And so that $500 is for the rain garden, helping to replenish the planting in there. There was an event out here on Saturday for actually getting out and weeding and cleaning out not only this rain garden, but the one up by the baseball fields. And I would think there was probably close to 25, 30 people here. It was a well attended, and a lot of people that weren't from Newtown were here helping with that project. So it was a good event. The business association is having some raffles with some baskets, and they were asking for some donations from different of their members. We have some cups that have logos on it, and so we're going to go ahead and give them some of those and for that. And so just letting you know we're doing that. The Historic Commission did have its first hearing on first I call it a hearing. It's a semi-informal or informal hearing related to a property being a class 2 for the Historic Society or for the Historic Commission, I'm sorry, on part of our ordinance. What I'm going to be looking for from you, and we don't need to decide tonight, but I want to throw it out there just so that you guys can be thinking about it, and we'll discuss it at the next meeting, is what's the process that you want to use to, when we bring these forward, how do you want to do them? Do you want to do them one at a time? Just to give you an idea, that particular meeting, there was almost an hour spent on that one property. I don't know that you want to spend an hour on every one of these properties that they bring forward. They're getting ready to do some more. And so I just want to get an idea of the flow of how you want to do that. It will require you authorizing advertising for a date certain to do a hearing, because you're going to be actually doing a map amendment to our zoning. And so just be kind of thinking about that, and then we can actually discuss it at the next meeting. But I wanted to give you a chance to kind of think about it, and then we'll discuss it and talk about what's the process that you want to go through.
If Mr. Secor could just let us know exactly what, I know that Mr. Neese, but to advertise, since it is a change to the map, how do you have to do one advertisement, 2 advertisement, 30 days, 60 days?
Yeah, you have to advertise 2 times. No sooner, 2 successive weeks, no sooner than 7 days before the hearing. And then I think it's 60 days on the outside. So in that window between 60 and 7 days, you have to advertise 2 times, once in 2 successive weeks. That's the advertising requirement. If you have one property that you're going to consider, we would just put that in the paper saying that there's going to be a consideration of the zoning map amendment to add a particular property to our class 2 resource list. And it shouldn't take too long, because the idea is that the Historic Commission is holding these information gathering sessions and preparing a packet for you with all the information that they've gathered from the property owner and themselves. And then they'll forward that to you with a recommendation. I would suggest that the first couple times, at least, you ask them to limit it to 1, so that you can kind of get the flow of how it's working, and you can kind of go from there.
Okay, and when do we, after because the Historic Commission met last week?
I think it was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. So then when do we get our packet? When do they usually, when do they make their recommendation?
Yeah, so I will get that to you. I told them I needed to understand which process you wanted to go through, how you wanted to do this. And so that's the
Okay, once
reason.
we decide on the process.
Once you decide on the process, then I'll make sure you get the packet and we'll move forward.
Our
Okay.
board has two important functions when it comes to these historic resources or these historic properties. One is just, is it going to be on our historic inventory? And that opens up a new world of issues. So this is what Stephen's talking about right now is just, are we going to add it to the list, which then will be identified on our overlay zoning map? There's no time period for that other than the limitations that I just said about advertising. But we can take as long as we want to consider those applications. There's no real time limit. Once a property is identified as a historic resource, that could have implications on their ability to modify the exterior of that building.
Right,
That has strict time limits because property owner has to be able to move on their property.
Yeah.
So there's a very strict time period, but we're not dealing with those yet.
okay. Silly question. If the historic commission meets about a property and they decide not to move that forward, does it still come to us?
I believe it would, because they would just be making a recommendation to deny it,
Okay,
not, because if the property owner wants it, I would need to still bring it before you.
okay, so it's like
Yeah.
planning commission.
So it's
like
similar
planning
in
commission.
that way, yeah.
Okay,
However, if the property owner has no interest in going forward
And
and the
the-
historic commission has no
it
interest
would
in
never come up.
It
to
would
us.
not come up,
Exactly.
right,
Okay, all right, thanks.
unless specifically requested
unless
Okay.
you request
by
it.
the board.
All right,
Yeah.
great. Thank you.
So the goal, so Rich and I will work over the next 2 weeks to kind of get you some possible procedures that you may want to follow. And then hopefully let you review those, and then we'll start the process and get you the information that you need. The next thing that is on my list is that the bocce ball courts at Drexel Lodge, if you haven't seen those, I encourage you to get out there and see those. They're going to open up on May 6th. The one question that came up is, are you interested and do you want to do either a ribbon cutting or a dedication kind of thing out there for that? My problem is our time is real limited. And so I don't know how that fits in what you want to do.
Well, knowing that Chairman Altieri is not here, I'm sure that he would say yes. We would like
Yeah,
to.
we'll volunteer him.
Yeah.
Volunteer,
yeah,
okay.
Acknowledge,
Got it.
we'd like to acknowledge all the work that Public
Yeah,
Works has done
yeah.
and George
And-
Barrett
and our park
specifically.
Our parks team
And
did
the-
a lot with this
Yeah,
as well.
and the Parks and Rec, because they spearheaded this and, you know, they had the foresight for it and our Public Works guys put it into motion.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's,
We'll tell Leonard to sharpen the scissors.
okay,
Yeah.
got it. All right, the only other thing I have, I know it's not on the list, I just want to give a quick update. Because most likely I know you're all aware, but I just want to make sure that you're aware kind of where we are. Last week, I let you know that we had a sewer overflow. We did have a sewer overflow at one of our pump stations. Where we are with that is that the overflow has obviously been stopped. It's been taken care of. The environmental cleanup has been done. We believe it's now back in DEP's hands to review it. And then we are looking into the causes and examining all of that. And that's going to take some time. But I just wanted to let you know that we did have it. We are working through it and trying to make sure that it doesn't happen again, at least not at that location.
Once you know the causes, you're gonna come back and.
Yeah,
obviously-
once we know where we are and what more details that we can give, we'll do that. Obviously, I'm also working with the municipal authority directly on that as well.
Thank you, Mr. Neese. Item 11.1, can I get a motion to consider the $1,749.81 to 2022 Township Tax refund to Samuel and Molly Krause at 501 Pratt Court for duplicate tax payment.
So move for approval?
Can I get a second?
Second,
Motion was made by Supervisor.
second,
Was seconded and seconded again by Supervisor Russo. Any comments or questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 aye,
Motion passed unanimously 4-0. 11.2, consider approving the $128 payment to Emily Hesley at 3504 Caley Road for a completed grading project.
So move for approval.
Can I get a second?
second,
Motion made by Supervisor Partridge, seconded by Supervisor Chanlis. Are there any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 aye,
Motion was unanimous 4-0. Bills, I'll make the motion since I reviewed and signed the checks on check register on 12.1. Consider approving the bills on check registry A dated April 10 totaling $372,802.25.
Second.
Motion was made by the chair, by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor Partridge. Are there any questions? Seeing none, please, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 aye,
Unanimous, 4-0. Item 12.2, consider ratifying the bills on EFT Register A dated April 10, 2023, totaling $681.89. Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor Partridge. Any questions?
Nope.
Hearing none, please signify all those in favor by saying aye.
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 aye,
Unanimous, was passed unanimously 4-0. Item 12.3, consider approving the bills on check registry B dated April 10, 2023, totaling $6,285.06. Can I get a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Supervisor Roberts Lightcap, seconded by Supervisor Partridge. Is there any comment?
No.
Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Unanimous.
aye,
The motion was passed unanimously 4-0. Public hearing, item 13.1. Public hearing for the intermunicipal liquor license transfer. The hearing will be opened and continued. Mr. Sikora.
Yes, so this board has been through this process before. This is where an establishment wants to have a liquor license in town. There's only so many in a township. Under the liquor code, there's a process that allows somebody to obtain a liquor license from somewhere else and bring it in to our town so that they can serve alcohol with their food or whatever it is they want to do. So this is a particular application that we received. It was advertised for this evening pursuant, the liquor code has advertising requirements. This isn't an evidentiary hearing. This is a legislative hearing. So we advertised it on March 27th and April 3rd for this evening for the application of D&L RE LLC to transfer a liquor license to 106 Squire Drive. So that's one of the new establishments in Ellis Preserve. Unfortunately, Mr. Butera here, who's counsel for the applicant, Mr. Butera had reached out to me earlier in the week and the primary witness became unavailable, who would be the best to answer all your questions about it. So we just agreed it would be best to continue it until the next hearing.
Here's apologies to the board. Didn't waste anybody's time, but my client was unavailable tonight, and so if we could continue it, we could do a better. Certainly, they would do a better job explaining what has to happen tonight.
Yeah. So I said, yeah, right. So that's what we're doing. We're opening the hearing. Our chairperson will do that.
Okay, so. And
We're opening the hearing. Hereby opened.
I hereby the hearing is hereby open.
And then so what we're doing is we're just going to anybody who showed up tonight or who wanted to come tonight, so we don't have to re-advertise it. So we open the hearing and then it's announced officially that we're continuing it to the next hearing, which is April.
Next meeting, which is the 24th.
April 24th, 7:00 p.m. And Mr. Butera will be back with a witness who will tell us all the wonderful things that we will get with this transfer.
Okay, so we'll see you on April 24th.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank
We're
you.
going to, and then we'll just adjourn and
Now the hearing is adjourned.
thank you.
See you on the 24th. Thank you. We're at section 14, new business, 14.1. Can I have a motion to consider approving the 2023 July 4th program booklet ad at a cost of $250?
So move for approval?
Can I have a second?
Second,
Motion was made by Supervisor Partridge, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Is there any board comment? Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed unanimously, 4-0. Item 14.2, consider authorizing the township manager to sign the contract with Green Weaver Landscapes with an associated cost of $5,520 relative to planting and maintenance of the township rain gardens.
So move for approval?
Can I get a second?
Second,
Motion was made by Supervisor Partridge, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Mr. Neese, is there any further explanation on this, or?
I would just make
Pretty
note that the first couple of years of a rain garden require a fair amount of maintenance to get started. And so Green Weaver is the one that designed the project originally. They know what plants were there. They would just help us put plants. Sometimes plants die in the first couple of years, coming back, putting those back in. And so that's what this project is. It's in your budget. You had budgeted for this. It was part of the EAC budget. In addition, we got that $500, which is also helping to cover this cost.
Okay, great, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed unanimously, 4-0. Any old business? Section 16, resolutions of legislation and action, 16.1. Can I get a motion to consider approving the resolution 2023-0 PennDOT traffic signal maintenance agreement updating 4 township crosswalks? Supervisor Partridge.
A resolution number 2023-09, be it resolved by the authority of the Board of Supervisors of the Township of Newtown, Delaware County, and is hereby resolved by authority of the same that the Township Manager of Township of Newtown be authorized and directed to submit the attached traffic signal maintenance agreement, to submit future modifications to the attached traffic signal maintenance agreement, and to submit future applications for traffic signal approval, either in writing or via electronic signature to the Department of Transportation, and to sign this agreement on behalf of the Township of Newtown. And that is my motion.
Can I get a second?
second,
Motion was made by Supervisor Partridge, seconded by Supervisor Russo. Any comment? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passed unanimously, 4-0. Is there any board comment? There is no, I don't believe there's any public comment because there's no public. Because they knew Leonard wasn't here. Are there items for next agenda? None. It is 7:35. I call the meeting of the Newtown Township Board of Supervisors, April 10th, adjourned. Thank you. Thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.